What's up, guys? I'm back. This is me, Rhett Haley, and I'm in my same usual spot talking to the camera. And I don't know why, but right now, today's feels weird. I feel weird talking to the camera. I don't know why either. I don't know why I feel like that. I've got two main things, really three, but the third one's kind of unrelated. So I'll just vent about that occasionally on accident. It'll come out on its own. But I've got two big things I want to talk about. And it's really the two things that have been on my mind the most in this chapter of my life. I just turned 18, and so my future is very obviously heavy on my mind. My future is the source of really all anxiety right now for me. But also, as I've done more research, I've started to feel a little better. I don't know. Right now, the biggest issue is I'm young, and I hate that here pretty soon, as in within the year, I'm going to be making a decision that changes my life and really sets me on a certain path that I won't be stuck on. I won't be stuck, going one direction. But it's still making a decision. It's like the Robert Frost poem, The Road Less Traveled, The Road Not Traveled. That poem is not about it's not about going the way most people don't. It's sort of a misconception about it. The poem is not about being different and being set apart from others because you choose to do the harder thing, you choose to do the different thing. The poem is really about how you have these two options and you're contemplating which one to choose. You're thinking about, you're weighing your options, right, with these two paths. And Robert Frost's poem is about choosing one and then wondering what the other one was like. Was it the exact same? How would my life be different? It's a lot of how would my life be different if I'd made different choices. And so, despite the fact that people misunderstand the poem, it's still a super relatable poem, and it's still super prevalent in our culture, despite the fact that people don't realize it. And I think more people realize it than I'm giving credit for it, but still. The Road Less Traveled is on my mind a lot. And what did I say? I'm going to have 2, maybe 3 topics to talk about, and I haven't covered a single one yet. So, look at me go. I'm great. It's weird to me because I'm learning about myself. Well, not about myself. I'm learning how easy it is to talk once you get going, which is funny because I've always struggled to understand people who can just ramble. Little did I know that I had that in me too, and that it's not that hard. It's really just once you let go of the fear of judgment, and boom, there's another one. I need to talk about that too. So 4 topics. I'm going to try and remember that there's 4 and what those 4 are. Now that I'm saying them out loud, I'm probably going to forget them. But fear of judgment, once you get over that, I think, at least for me, talking becomes a lot easier. Like right now, I'm not worried about being critiqued on what I'm saying. I am a little bit, but just by myself. But that's freeing because right now there's no one to hear me. And I like cameras for that reason. Because there is someone to hear me, but my caveman brain hasn't evolved to that yet, I guess. Hasn't grown to understand that a camera does mean that. Not fully, at least. Right? So that's comforting. Whatever I said earlier about feeling a little awkward. I'm just 5 of them. So here we go. Let me name them so I don't forget them, or at least if I forget them, I can circle back. But the one that just came to my mind is I'm terrible at transitioning. Scratch that. I'm terrible at approaching things, like beginning things. The beginning is the hard part, and I'm bad at approaching women, approaching conversations, approaching challenges, approaching decisions. I need to work on my approach, work on moving towards things. Number 2, the one that I've been thinking about a lot is traveling, how I'm going to find time to travel the world. Number 3 is I really wish I had a girlfriend, and I want to talk about that. Number 4, and here's where you start to lose me, is fear of judgment or fear of failure, and how that has impacted my life. And number 5, I can't remember. Where did I start with? Whatever. It'll come back to me if it wants to come back to me. So I want to first talk about traveling, because right now my life plan that I've blocked out for myself is I want to go to college, and while I'm in college do AFROTC and hopefully get some financial aid from that, and hopefully pay for some college with that, and also just scrape together some smaller scholarships for it. But anywho, financial matters of sidebar. Dude, it's so easy to do this. It's so easy to just talk. Sidebar. I think it's stupid that finances and politics are two of the most taboo things in the world. Finances I can get behind, if you're insecure about how much money you make, but I think it's really helpful to be able to talk to people about that. And I think that's where a lot of our debt in our society comes from, is people not understanding what tax bracket they fall under, people not understanding how much money they're supposed to be spending, because everyone wants to look like they spend a lot of money, even though they can't, right? So I wish that we were more open about that. I hope that was an animal. I hope somebody can't hear me talking right now. I heard footsteps, and I really hope it was a deer. But for me, huge thing. Just got back from DC, and politics was a big thing. And some of us and some people were open about talking to politics, and I think that was cool. But I think politics not being, dinner table discussion, I understand why, because people get heated and then it becomes an argument. But I think that's just, we shouldn't be ruling out politics because we're too immature to talk about them. I think that we need to talk about politics, because the alternative is being scared of angering people, and so then people are uninformed, and I think that's really annoying. Anywho, back to travel. Right now my life plan is looking like it's not going to allow me a lot of free time to travel for 8 more years. So if I'm 26 from today, and 26 and I haven't left the country, it's terrifying. Actually, in the Air Force, it would be 4 years of maybe travel, of potential travel, hopefully travel. But that's not why I'm joining. I'm not joining to see the world, because I know that that's not what they're offering me. But if I do join the Air Force, if I really do commit to that, am I signing away my young 20s that could otherwise be spent backpacking Europe and going on African safaris and hiking mountains in Southeast Asia, or beaches in South America? All these things sound like so much fun to me, and I want to travel the world. I want to travel the world. And that's one thing that means a lot to me, is seeing the world. And I want to solo travel a few times at least, and then hopefully have people to travel with. But I want to go alone, and I want to have that character building experience of being uncomfortable and being miserable and finding a way to make that fun. And I think there's just so much that I can learn from traveling, and there's so much that I can see and do, and I think that the idea, the expectation for me of traveling is probably getting too big. It's probably grown too inflated, but still, I really, really, really want to see the world. But if I commit, a certain number of years of my life to the military for financial stability, that's all good and dandy, except will I be able to travel? I need to look into ROTC and see, how much freedom you have to travel in college, because I would love to study abroad in college. And if I can, if I'm given that freedom, and I don't have to request leave while I'm in college, I think it's a lot of being a civilian while you're in college. So I think maybe I would be able to travel then. The issue is, while I'm in college, those are going to be that half of the military commitment is going to be the time that I'm going to be too broke to travel. So, I don't know. No matter what decision I make, no matter what path I choose, it will require sacrifice, and it will take away from an alternative path, right? It will take me further away from a different one. But I really, really want to I want to join the military, and I want to travel. And I don't want those to be mutually exclusive, right? But it's a lot to think about, and it's a lot of unknowns, a lot of unknown variables, and that part kind of stinks, because as I've learned about myself recently from how much extensive research I've wanted to do about everything in my future, you gotta live it, and that sucks. It's amazing, because I have the opportunity to live it, but you gotta live it. You can't just Google it and say, oh, okay, then get the experience. You don't get the experience from Googling it. But another thing I wanted to talk about was my growing sense of loneliness. I haven't had a girlfriend in a little over a year now. It's been a little over a year of me being single, with me making no advances on women, and me really removing myself from the dating scene entirely. And what that means is my fear of women has grown, and my desire for having a relationship, for getting to experience the things of being in a relationship, the benefits of being in a relationship, right? And I don't mean that in a perverted way. I really do mean the actual benefits of being in a relationship. I want those. I want to be able to have a safe space and a person to talk to, and a person really a lot like this. I wish I could be talking to a person right now. And instead, I'm talking to myself. And I think it's good for me. I think it's good for me to talk to myself, and it's good for me to learn this about myself. In fact, I need to, you need to love yourself first before you can love others, right? But I think I love myself. I know I love myself. Like, I'm looking right now, I'm looking at this video of me, this reflection, and I'm so happy that this is me. And I'm so glad that, my problems are the one I get to experience, and my face is the one I have, and my talents, my abilities are the ones that I have, and my future is as bright as it looks, and I'm happy for the people in my life. And, there's all these good things, and it's, I think what it is in my mind for a long time, I built up this idea that once you love yourself, then it's on to the next step, and the people in charge, the puppet masters say, okay, this guy, move him on. He advances to the next round, basically, right? He's ready. And I've built that up in my mind so much. That's how I've thought about it, that I've forgotten that it's my own prerogative to actually meet women. No one's just going to appear in my life and love me automatically. No one's going to appear in my life and just say, wow, yeah, he's a stunner and I want him. It's not how it works. At least not normally. I hope that happens to me. More likely, though, is that I have to gather up the courage to not only approach one woman, but to start doing it. To start talking to women often and expose myself to opportunities to meet girls that are cool and that I could see myself having a future with. I got to do that. That's my responsibility. That stinks. Because I don't want to do that. I want it to magically come to me. I think one side effect of growing up with a healthy childhood is one unhealthy side effect of a healthy childhood is growing to expect things. Sort of spoiled prince syndrome, and I think I have it a little bit, where my mom has always been so loving and supportive that when I wanted lunch, she knew, or I asked her, and she made lunch, and it happened, and I didn't have to do anything about it. It just happened. It just came to me, right? So soon, very soon, my life is going to shift, not dramatically, more gradually shift, and things will slowly change until it's unrecognizable, and until that's not true for me at all anymore, until everything I do and everything I get, I have to get. I have to go out and get it to have it, right? So being self-made and being independent and being the source of your resources, it's scary for me because I'm not. That hasn't been me. My parents didn't fail me. I didn't have to stand on my own 2 feet. I'm not standing on my own 2 feet at all. I don't have a job. I have a bank account, but it's barely mine. And I want to stand on my own, and the idea of it, I've romanticized the idea of having credit cards that I can gather points on, that I can earn points on and then travel for cheaper, right? And I've built up this idea of working the system and being financially savvy. But right now, I'm at square -1. And that's a blessing and a curse for my parents. They've always supported me, but they've supported me so much, I don't know how to ride my bike, my metaphorical bike. And I don't know how to have that conversation. That stinks. But I'm 18. I recently turned 18, and I want to go gamble for fun. Not, I don't want to get addicted. But I want to go to Remington Park, which is the horse racing track and casino in Oklahoma City. And I want to go there, and I want to bet on horses. And they're not going to tell me no. They're going to let me do that. The issue is, I go do that, I can't spend my own money. That's not my own money that I'm spending, right? Places don't, yeah, sure, I can hand them cash, and that's my own money. And my cash normally is my money. But cash is falling out of favor, and, it's becoming less and less valid of a currency. And so I don't know what my next step is on that. I think that's a scary thing for me right now is what's my next step in a lot of things. What's keeping me going, what's keeping me alive right now is I know my next step in cross country, and I know I just need to run. That's got a very straightforward mission there. So I've got something to devote myself to. But aside from that, I want to be multifaceted, and so that can't be all I'm doing. I need to be able to do other things. It's funny, like even right now, I'm transitioning in books. I brought my Lord of the Rings book out here. I was gonna read, but you can't see it, but the table's all wet because it rained. I'm wearing a rain jacket. It's wet out and it's been raining, so I can't read. At least not here. But right now I'm in a transition phase in so many things, including reading. I don't have a book to read right now. I want to start Lord of the Rings. So that's, a logical next step, right? But there's always that uncertainty in taking a step forward, in making a decision. Everything I've talked about in these past 20 minutes has circled back to become more confident, grow into a more confident man, and having a plan on how to do that. I need to do that. I'm a confident person. I'm growing more confident. I'm in the process right now, because I could tell you a year ago, filming this video, I would have been more uncomfortable than I am, and I would have been not displeased, but I feel love for myself, right? And I think in my mind, that's the first step of confidence. It is first love yourself, and now I'm going to start working on approaching women and making decisions confidently and believing in myself. First it was love yourself, now it's believe in yourself. I think that's how you break it down. Confidence to me is loving myself and believing in myself. And once I combine those two, I think I will probably be a confident person. Probably. Hopefully. But I gotta talk to women. I think that's like priority 1 for me right now. Priority 2, because running's like pretty big for me. Probably priority 2. I'm scared of women, dude, and it's a problem. It's a big problem. My friends, oftentimes I have friends tell me, like I even had yesterday, friends telling me like, you're an attractive dude, like you're gonna be fine, you could find somebody good. And I appreciate them trying to help, and I appreciate them trying to hype me up. I think they're being sincere. I'm pretty sure they're being sincere. But it just hasn't gotten to my head. Why don't I have more of an ego? I wish I had more of an ego. And what's weird is I do sometimes. Like sometimes I have a huge ego. Like I have a superiority. I've grown out of it a little bit, but I used to have a huge superiority complex about like intellect. Like I thought I was one of the smartest dudes ever when I was in like 5th grade, and I was at like a 12th grade reading level in 5th grade, and I was doing division and fractions in 3rd grade. Like, yeah, I was a smart cookie. It's definitely a side effect, and people have, I could launch into a whole spiel about how the gifted and talented programs of our elementary schools are not detrimental, but are harmful to young kids who are pretty normal. And people have done that. People got that covered. I'm no expert on that, so I won't try that. But I am a part of that cycle, and I'm a part of that statistic. I thought I was really gifted and special, and I want to believe that I am. Right? I can take a standardized test and do well, and I can hold a conversation better than the average man, and I can pretend to be pretty smart because I read some books, but I'm not destined for success. I have to create my own success, and that's daunting. I mean, that's scary. there's so many responsibilities and so many decisions I have to make. So many things weighing on my shoulders right now. And I don't like it one bit, but I also love it. Because it's like I'm living a meaningful life. That's how I know that's how you know you're living a meaningful life, right? It's there's some quote out there on TikTok, right? How you're on the right path if you're encountering enemies or something like that, you know, from video games. Because if you make the right decisions, the bosses get stronger and stronger and they lead up. If you take a wrong turn, you're just in the middle of nowhere that the game developers didn't even mean for you to be there, right? So it's sort of like that. You're living a meaningful life if you have enemies or if you have obstacles. That's how you know. I think. I don't know. I've been talking too much. I'm just not talking anymore. Like right now, I'm just kind of like saying nothing. I hate that feeling. I hate when I'm talking and it feels like I'm just rambling. I hate the feeling of just rambling. But damn it if I won't be a good old man, because I can do it. I can ramble. All right, that probably started with, that's the problem. I started with approaching women on that one. That's why that topic got so garbled, because I gotta do it. I gotta become more confident. Love yourself, check. Believe in yourself, not check. I need to believe in myself more. I need to believe that I'm capable, that I'm smart, that I'm strong, that I'm funny, that I'm capable, right? I need to believe in myself. I need to believe that I can do hard things. And the way you do that is you make promises to yourself and then you keep them. The way you do that is you challenge yourself to do hard things and you do them. This August, I'm going to be running a half marathon, and I think that'll be really good for me. This fall, I guess August is kind of fall, but this fall I'm going to be running cross country, and if I can all-state, that'll be huge, because that's the biggest goal I've ever set in my life. And it's the one that I've worked the hardest at ever so far. So if I win, when I achieve that goal, that'll be huge for me. It'll be a big growth moment, a big milestone. That's what they call them. Almost called that a growth moment, a milestone. That'll be a huge milestone for me, and I can reassess myself then, check for progress. But I need to believe in myself. Believe that you can. I also just don't know where, I don't even know how. It's not even fully fear, like with women. I don't know where to go, how to approach women. I don't know the first step. I don't know what to do there. That's a problem. I've talked about it way too long. I'm nearing my, I think I'm probably going to talk for too long today. After all, these videos aren't public. They're not for anyone to judge. I think I'm not going to constrain myself to a certain time limit. I'm just going to talk. That's what it's all about, right? But I had so many things to talk about, and I've forgotten so many of them, so. What else? Talked about traveling. I want to travel, and I talked about decision making has been big in this video, in this event. Talked about women, fear of judgment. I can jump on that. I think that's where a lot of my lack of self-belief stems from, is a fear of judgment, right? Because if I don't believe that I can succeed, then I expect to fail. Okay, you're following? And if I believe that I'm going to fail, then my mind will run through all the possible scenarios in which I'm embarrassed. Say I go approach a woman and I'm not confident in myself. I'm not confident that I can get the number, I want to just talk. I don't even want to get a number. I want to just talk to him. That's okay. There's my next logical step. I'm just going to prepare. Once I end this video, I'm just going to sit here and I'm going to think about questions to ask. And I'm just going to ask questions. I'm not going to try and get numbers. I'm just going to talk. Just talk to women with no gratification in mind. Oh, that's a weird word to use. With no reward in mind. don't expect the reward for it, right? So just talk. That's what I'm gonna do, is I'm just gonna talk to him. Okay, so that came from fear of judgment. So if I can't get the number, then we're jumping back on the old thought. If I can't get the number, then that's failing, okay? In this flawed mindset that I'm working through, in this flawed hypothetical I'm working through. If I don't get the number, I failed. So if I failed, it's only logical that failure leads to embarrassment. Failure leads to mockery. So then everybody around will point and laugh and say, wow, look at him. And that's fear of judgment. I hate the idea of being judged. That's why I can't dance. I don't want to be judged for how I dance. I can't sing. It's because I don't want to be judged. I've never tried to do either one of those things very much. I've tried a little bit, and I know the dancing I don't enjoy. Like, I just don't enjoy it. And like singing, I need to be comfortable, but I love singing. But I'm okay. I'm like maybe an average singer, but like not an average singer, like an average person at singing, right? Huh, my parents are walking. That's weird. They didn't notice me sitting back here. They're taking a walk with our dog Duke, and they didn't notice that I'm sitting right over here, probably 100 feet away. I'll have to lower my voice. I think they stayed out of earshot the whole time, but fear of judgment, that's what I was on. So I hate the idea of being judged because well, really, there's no because to trace it back to. It's just a fear of judgment. I hate approaching women, and I hate dancing, and I hate singing, and I hate being in public spaces, and I hate putting myself out there and approaching people, approaching. I hate that because I overthink all the possible ways that I could fail. And I gotta stop doing that. I gotta start being confident. I don't know, it's irritating to even think about, because it's just this cycle in my head of I need to be positive, and then I'm positive right up until the moment of hardship. I don't handle hardship well. And how do I fix that? What do I do to fix that? Well, you expose yourself to hardship over and over and over and over. So say yes to opportunities, open those doors, and grow. That's what I can do. I don't remember my other talking points, and I'm sitting right around the time limit. I said it wasn't a time limit, but it's a time limit. So I think I'm going to call that quits. I like to think that this was a productive video. I hope it wasn't just me talking for no reason. I like to think I made progress. I did make progress, because now I know. I need to believe in myself, and that comes from learning that I can believe in myself by challenging myself. So challenge yourself. So the steps are: challenge yourself. Know that you can do something hard, and then do something hard. Succeed. Then once you succeed, you have fuel. And once you succeed, do it again, until you reflect and you say, wow, yeah, I believe in myself. I believe I can do it. It starts with delusional optimism. It starts with having no real reason for believing in yourself, but lying to yourself and believing, saying, I believe in myself. And then you just use that mantra in hardship so many times over that you actually start to believe it. That's where it starts. So I believe in myself. I can do this.